guys, Samantha from GSMO Tutorials here, and today I'm going to show you how to create a cute pair of rose earrings using polymer clay, little cotton balls, and some acrylic paint. And we'll go more into that later on. For now, you're going to want to choose your colours. These are the three that I've got. This is the one that's going to be used for the cotton balls. So I'm going to pop that to the side, we're not doing that right now. And these two colours are going to be for the little almost imitation of a wire rose. This is alizarin crimson, and then this is 1 part of this colour and 5 parts white. I will have that in the colour card at the beginning of the video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take each of those and I'm just going to mould it into a triangle. And I'm going to make a skinner blend. And again, use any colours you want. Does not need to be the ones that I have here. These are just the ones that I decided to go with. Okay, and then you pop them together like so, and I have them a little off center so that I have some of the pink left and some of the crimson left, whereas if you put them straight together like this, you would end up with a darker version of the pink here and a lighter version of the crimson, which might be something that you want, so just keep that in mind. Then all you're going to do is you're going to roll that flat. You can use a pasta machine to do this, but I'll show you how to do it a little bit by hand. And you're going to fold it. Now, don't fold it this way, that's going to defeat the skinner blend. You want to fold it this way, and you want to keep folding it the same way every time. And if you're using a pasta machine, you'll just use the pasta machine to speed up the flattening process that I'm doing right now. Then you take that, you fold again. And each time you fold, make sure you press out the air bubbles. And then just repeat that over and over again until you get your skinner blend. It might take around 10 to 20 rolls depending on the colours you're using and the intensity of those colours. Okay, and there we go. This isn't a completely smooth blend, you can still see some streak lines, but that is something that I like and I am going to keep. If you don't want that, just continue rolling until it smooths out completely. Then I am going to just cut off a piece or two. I'm going to actually just cut it into a couple of lengths. That should do for now. I'm going to pop that to the side and we'll work with these. And just separate them out so that they don't end up sticking together. Okay, and I'm just going to pop them off to the side there. Just clean up. That crimson colour is quite a strong colour, and you will find that it tends to mark up the tile and your fingers, so just make sure that you stay nice and tidy while using that colour, because it can transfer very easily onto other colours. Then I'm just going to take that and I'm going to round it off by rolling it in my fingers, softening out those kind of harsh edges. Okay, and then what you can do is, I would usually use an extruder because it's a bit quicker, but if you don't have an extruder, you can roll these out using an acrylic block or any kind of even block like so. You could even use a tile. Just use something like this, and that will roll it out into an even rod, and then I'll take that and just gently stretch it. If you're using an extruder, you would have taken the skinner blend like it is now and would have rolled that up into a skinner blend bullseye cane and then popped that through the extruder. Though for this project I do actually recommend using an acrylic block and your fingers, because you'll end up with shorter rods of clay, and so I just prefer that. Okay, then I'm going to make another one of those, and I can even just roll it a little on the tile instead of having to squish it with my fingers to soften out those edges. Then again give it a roll and generally make it the same length as the other piece. This little project here that we're doing right now doesn't require anything too precise, so don't worry about the rod that you're making being exactly even the whole way along. You just want it to be a generally thin piece. Okay, then once you've got those two, I'm going to line it up so that you have one dark on one side with the light and one light on the dark side. Okay, then just pop that together, just squish them together, and then I'm just going to twist that up like so. It does not need to be even, and I don't want a huge amount of twists, just enough that it's stuck together. Then start by pressing down like so and just getting it to stick to your tile. Okay, and then you're going to make kind of a spiral of sorts. Okay, and just kind of loop-de-loop it over the top of itself. It's supposed to kind of be imitating wire, you don't want it to be perfect. And you can kind of twist it as you go to kind of get this messy rose effect. Okay, and I'm going to make a few of these and see which one I like the best. I'm going to break it off there because I've got enough. There we go. Then just generally pat it down so that it's all nice and even. Don't apply too much pressure because you don't want to flatten out. And I'm actually quite happy with that, and I'm going to make another one because we're making a pair of earrings. Okay, and there we go. And each one is going to turn out different, so you might want to make a couple to then mix and match them. But yeah, that is pretty much it for the little rose part of the earring. And these would make great beads just on their own, so you can use them in different projects if you want to. It does not have to be the one that I'm using today. But yeah, pop those to the side. They will get baked in unison with the next piece that we're making. Also, again, got crimson on here, so just make sure that you give it clean. Okay, and the next one is going to be this really nice fresh spring green. Again, this one also is in the colour tag at the beginning of the video. If you want the colour recipe right now, it is 1 Primo Cobalt, 3 Zinc Yellow, and 4 White. But what we're going to do there is we're going to do pretty much the same thing when it comes to rolling out little rods of clay. And I'm going to cut out a couple of pieces there. Just pop those to the side and do the same thing. You'll just roll it out nice and thin and make a couple of them because you're going to want more than what you used for the rose piece. But yeah, just the same process. Okay, and I've got about 3 rods of clay ready to go. Then you're going to grab one of the little cotton balls and just pierce through it with a needle tool, just so that you have something secure holding it so that you can move it around, and also so that you can wrap the clay around the edge, because the cotton, the clay doesn't stick to it very well, and so this can be a bit of a fiddly process, and I find the best way to deal with that fiddliness is to wrap a loop around the needle tool first, a nice tight loop, and get that stuck down as much as possible, and then hold that loop and wrap around the other end as well, and then you've got the clay somewhat fixed to the cotton ball. Then I'll just roll it around at random, kind of getting a webbed effect. Try not to get too much overlay. Okay, and then bring it down to rest over there. Okay, then I'll grab another piece of clay. And it really depends on how much of an open network you want versus a busy one. But once you've got the first little bit of clay down, it should be much easier to kind of get things going. And remember, at any point if you don't like it, you can always just kind of take it off, because it doesn't stick to the cotton. So don't worry about messing up at all. You can redo it whenever you want, if you want. Okay, and that should just about do. Okay, pat that down there. Okay, then I'll place that in my hands and gently press to get the clay to kind of squish together, and on the cotton tool you can also use your fingers just to get it all pressed down together. Okay, and then I've got a sponge which I'm going to use to texture it, and I'm going to use that to really press down and get it stuck in there. Okay, and a piece of sandpaper would do the job as well. Now flip and do it again until I have a nice even texture. Okay, and I didn't really end up liking how that came out, so I've swapped down to, instead of a 15mm cotton bead, I now have a 12mm one, and I've rolled out one rod of the green clay, and then I've rolled out a rod of our colour that we used for the rose. And I'm just going to pop that onto a piercing pin, and I'm going to try something different. One where we're not going to end up removing the cotton bead anyway, that's just going to be our bead core. So if you don't have a cotton bead, you can use polymer clay, it's just this is a lot lighter. Now I'm just going to bring these over, and I'm going to pop the green and stick it to one side and stick it to the other side, and then just get that to stretch gently so they're both the same length. Okay, then just squish those together. You want that to be pressed together and stuck, and we're going to do a little spiral bead. And now I'm going to be honest, I've already made one over here, and I don't know if it's just me, let me know in the comments, but does this remind you of the chocolate room from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the movie? I swear that's what I am getting reminded of when I'm making this. I really am quite happy with how it looks, very whimsical. But anyway, back onto making it. You just press those together. And I'm going to start with the red side and just make sure it's pressed together. The more pressed together is, the easier this will be. Okay, now we've got this ready to go. So I'll just pick up that one end. And again, like before, I am going to create a loop around the top. And I actually want this to be kind of the opposite way. I want the red to touch down first. Just get that to loop around. This is the hardest bit. Once you've got this down, then you can just spiral it around the piece. Just hold it in place. And if you need to press down quite firmly with your fingers to get it started, you just want to start looping. Once you get that going, it should be quite easy. There we go. kind of like a bead cap. And this actually is something that you could do to create bead caps. You could do it only like halfway down the cotton ball, use the cotton ball almost as a form to bake on, and then remove it after it's baked, and you could make bead caps that way. Actually, I should try that in the future. But there we go, and I'm just going to continue wrapping the whole way around. And don't worry about fingerprints, I'm going to apply texture. If you don't want to apply texture, then you can smooth it off later. There's almost no way to avoid fingerprints here, besides maybe wearing gloves, but even those will kind of leave imprints. And notice how I'm kind of rotating this so that I am kind of utilizing gravity as a tool to help me out with this. And I'm showing the whole process, because at the top here you want to start using your finger to press it down, because it's going to want to build up a little wall. So just press it down so that it curves into the correct shape. And this will be your bead. And you can use any colours that you want. Keep that in mind. This would look quite nice if I was trying to make something kind of honeybee inspired. I think it would look nice as a hive. That's something that I should also try in the future. There, cut off the extra little bit there, and then pat that down. And there you go. Then I'm going to bring over that sponge from before, and I'm actually going to just pop one part of the piercing pin through, and then the other part as well, so that I can sandwich this and press down on the ends, kind of rounding that out a bit. And I'm just going to do that for a moment. There we go. And then you can just kind of roll it across lightly and just give it a press and give it a texture. And that's why I was saying don't worry about fingerprints, because this will get rid of it. Again, sandpaper will do the trick if you don't have a sponge like this. Okay, and then once that's all textured, gently pull it off the pin. And actually I will use the sponge to do that so that I don't end up with fingerprints. And there we go. Now we've got two cute little beads, and I think that looks better than what I had previously. And then I've got the roses as well, and I don't really want them to have fingerprints on them either, so I'm going to just pop them on the sponge and very gently press on them, just to kind of give them a light purposeful texture to hide any fingerprints that may be on the surface, so that they've just got a more matte finish, because I can't remove the fingerprints and I don't want to texture them as thoroughly as the little beads there, but this will do. And because you're doing it on this, the opposite side will get textured too, so I do like to go through and just make sure that it was done properly. And there we go, that should just about do. Those are going to get baked on a piece of paper for a full hour at Primo's recommended temperature. And then when they come out, I'm not even sure if I'm going to antique them. I'll see, might want to do that, but I think they look quite nice the way they are. We'll see. Okay, and then once they've finished baking, the rose needs to be drilled. So I've got a little handheld drill here, and choose the top of where you want the piece to be, and just drill a hole. It should be relatively easy. I've just got a nice thin hole there, and then you're good to assemble. Because this is all clay, you don't need to worry about sealing it at all. And this one we've already got a hole going straight through, and I'm not going to try to remove the cotton ball, as there's no way to really remove that without breaking the bead. It's nice and light though. Okay, and so I've got a little gold head pin here and two bead caps, and I'm going to pop a bead cap on either side of our bead here, like so. So fiddly. There we go. And then make a loop on the one side, nice small loop. Like so. Bring that up to rest. Snip off the appropriate amount of wire, and that depends on the size of the loop you're going to make, and is something that you've just kind of got to feel as you go. Hold the tail before you snip it off, because you don't want that flying off into your eye. And then create a loop on the other side. Okay. There we go. And I'm just making sure that they're lined up. They should be the same. Yep. Okay. Then grab a jump ring. Got a nice small jump ring. Open that up. Pop that through the hole in the rose. Connect it to your bead. Close it back up. Okay, and then grab a ear wire. Open up that little loop on the bottom as well. There we go. And pop that through the loop. I'm just struggling a little bit. There we go. Okay. And close the loop back up again. And that is pretty much it. Quite a simple little assembly, and also quite a simple little project. You don't really need to be doing anything too fancy with it. It pretty much does it all for itself. But yeah. And there we go. That's how they look. And I think they're quite cute. And both of the components that were made, that being the rose and the bead, can be used individually. They don't need to all go together in the same piece. Feel free to use them separately in different projects if you want to, with different colours and things like that. But yeah, let me know what you thought in the comments below. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Would you end up using it in any of your projects? Things like that. If you have questions, also leave them down below and I will get to them as soon as possible. And if you'd like to support the channel so I can continue making videos just like this one, please do consider checking out my Etsy store. There is a link in the description below, and or becoming a member. There's a join button below this video. Every member is greatly appreciated, and if you can give the video a like, that is another great way to support the channel. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.